So, last we left off,
Take two.
the party took a trip to the tower. You guys traveled by way of the mines due north of your now new safe place to be, the Longhouse. After traversing the mines and laying yourself some tracks back so that you'd know where to go to get back home, you all arrived at the tower and had a short and kind of dangerous encounter where you jumped the wall and proceeded to have one of the party go sprinting into a storm that is made of magic. After saving Tyken from seemingly cooking himself, you all decided there was no safe way in from the bottom, left, took some time going back up, and spent another night in the Longhouse. Our dear Lara spent most of the evening communicating with her friends and describing her current goings-on when referring to seeing, supposedly, the ghost of her now dead lover and wife for a time. After all was said and done, you felt a rest for the evening and were accosted by a pixie. After having some time with this strange pixie, you decided to go to the upper section of the tower that stands higher into this layer of the underground. And after traveling there, Tyken flew inside while the rest of you climbed, some of you much more dangerous than the others and nearly falling to your deaths. And upon arriving inside, you all found some strange corpses with metal cages on the inside, stones that stand inlaid into those cages, and some strange notes that refer to possibly a betrayer in their midst and the people wanting to leave but not being able to because of the storm. While you were all discovering secrets of this long-lost tower, the tower suddenly was slammed by an explosion or shifted heavily under the weight of the new party being inside. Whatever happened is unclear. And that's where we'll pick up for today.
Terrible.
So, as the tower itself begins to cant heavily to one side, much more heavily than before, I need a dexterity saving throw from everybody to stay on your feet.
Dex save, dex
Do I have to
save.
re-roll it?
This is how
You
I
can
die.
keep your old roll, or you can go ahead. It doesn't matter.
That's a dirty one.
Oh, Dex. Dex? Did you say Dex?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you said Dex, yeah.
Can I change that?
No.
Can I use Charisma?
No.
Can I charm this? No, I can't. Okay. I'll try it. That's a 9.
Okay, dex save. Lickety black. That's a 16.
21.
Beautiful. Tyken, was yours a dirty one? Is that what I heard?
That is a dirty one. I rolled a 2
I
minus
called
1.
it. Called it.
Okay.
Someone's gonna get it.
Lara and Mitra, as the tower itself begins to fall and land heavily on the side of the hole that it stands within, you both suddenly kind of lock yourselves up, catching on different pieces of furniture and maybe even one of the tables that the bodies have been laying on that you guys were looking at. Tyken and Shainda, you both lose your footing and go sailing towards one of the walls with the open windows that lay throughout this space.
That's
So, if you could both give me either athletics or acrobatics as a check to try and catch before you sail out of a window.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'll use
19.
athletics. Okay. That's not terrible. 11.
You both sail towards said window and catch. Shainda, you catch yourself by kind of just like slamming into the wall lightly with a shoulder. For you, Tyken, with a 19, you do go out the window, but you catch yourself with both hands on the ledge of it, and you can pull yourself back in. You notice now that on the outside, now that you get a good look, the tower itself has fallen against this wall, and the outer hole, the edges of it have caught the tower for now. But you're now exceptionally close to, that piece of wall just above you catching this tower. Had you been a floor up, it might have been much worse for you. But you take a moment, pull yourself back inside, and this is the point where you guys begin to hear this strange, loud buzzing. Go ahead and roll me perception, the lot of you.
My best skill.
8.
Ooh,
That's
17.
20.
17.
17.
16.
16. Everyone but Tyken.
I don't see shit.
It sounds like a a very large bug moving. It sounds like heavy wing beats from the floors below. And you also, with all those high rolls, you guys would also be hearing kind of a heavy rhythmic slamming, as if something was basically running into the lowest floors of this tower, echoing up through each of the chambers.
We have to move. Get the fuck out.
Take off running, I guess. Up? You say it was
Up or down?
It was below
It's
us,
up.
right?
The sounds you're hearing are below you.
We're not going down. We're not going down. We're going up.
We head up, I guess.
We're all heading up, yeah?
Okay, as you guys begin sprinting up the stairs, they
Wait.
curl around and you reach another locked gate.
Locked how?
The same as before, a wrought iron fence type gate with a key lock built into it that you could be able to pick.
On it right away.
Okay, go ahead and give me a Thieves' Tools check.
19.
19. With a surprising deftness, you immediately get the tools in, pop the lock. You go ahead and make me a dexterity saving throw.
Just one moment, I'm gonna close it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're trying to open it.
Someone's getting zapped.
No, it's someone's using the what's it called? Microwave? Yes. Dexterity save. 18.
18. Remembering that the last lock that you had a part of picking or breaking zapped your dear friend, you quickly work with the tools and then pull them out as fast as you can, and you see a couple of sparks kind of shatter across the face of the lock, but they don't seem to catch you. Afterwards, you open the door up and you all begin running out. Getting up to the top floor, this entire space is just almost entirely open air. It has thin slats of stone that actually keep the roof portion on, but the windows have long since shattered and gone away. Looking out towards the edge of the holes, you could probably make the jump out. It stands a little high, maybe 25, 30 feet, 10 meters-ish. But the jump wouldn't be, the least safe thing you've done today, considering a couple of you almost fell down the entire tower.
A straight horizontal jump.
Yeah, basically, because of the way that it's leaned over now, you could kind of jump straight out rather than having, a much less safe jump.
Okay. I will hand one of you. Who is it? Who shall I hand it? Who would be able? I guess Mitra. I'll hand you some rope, and I will move back and take a running jump.
Okay, go ahead and give me athletics. Or, no, because acrobatics is for landing.
So which one?
Just
Athletics?
athletics, yeah.
23.
Beautiful. You take off sailing through the open window. Pardon my voice. Sailing through the open window and land safely on the bottom. The fall is kind of deceptive. It's hard to judge height from the position you guys are in with the window being tilted looking down. You land safely because of you being fairly good at things like this. You still have the rope, Mitra. You're still holding roughly 50 feet of rope, something like that.
Sure is.
Is there anything I can attach it to on my side?
The tree itself has been pinned underneath the tower at this point. It'd be real hard to tie off. If you wanted to tie to the tree, you'd be tying it off kind of in line with the tower rather than out further. But you could stand further back and hold the rope if you're trying to get people to zip line, but it would be a hefty strength check.
But what you're saying is I can tie it around the tree and then hold it as well.
You can certainly try.
Okay, I'll try that.
Okay. Because of your fast hands, I won't make you roll for it. You go ahead and tie off what length of rope you have. You guys have this kind of not quite vertical rope now. It's kind of pulled in towards the tower more, hanging from Mitra currently.
And I'll start I don't know if they can hear me, but I'll start gesturing as well. Like, get over here, come on.
Yep. Who's taking lead in the jump down? or
I'm
the
coming.
rope climb down.
Also, if I can help it, I'd like to be ready to like hold him up or anything. Wait, no, I
Okay.
can't. I have the rope in my hands. Never mind.
Considering how high your perception was, I'll also mention the ground here seems very unstable. Like it could go at any moment because of the weight of the tower crushing it down.
Do you have
We
any
don't
other
have
details?
time. It's falling apart. Hurry up.
Yeah, I'm fucking going. Yeah.
Okay.
Take him running.
We'll start with Shinda then. Shinda, why don't you go ahead and give me an athletics check?
Oh yeah.
Where athletics?
Okay, that's 12.
Yeah. You grab hold of the rope, kind of hold yourself on as firm as you can, kind of ignoring the threat of rope burn to keep yourself alive. You slide down and take a singular point of slashing damage from the rope cutting into your arms and wrists. But you do land safely on the ground. Tyken, go ahead and give me an athletics check.
7.
7. You begin to slide down, and your hands, through the thick gauntlets, you can't quite get the right grip that you want, and they slip loose. You fall the roughly 25, 30 feet towards the ground. You take... Ooh,
Tons of damage.
juicy. You take 13 points of bludgeoning damage as you crash to the earth. Mitra, without anyone holding the rope, it's going to be a little messier for you.
Run and jump, run and jump, run and
Okay.
jump, run and jump. Okay.
Go ahead and give me an athletics check as you sprint out the window.
Athletics check. That is a 16.
Beautiful. You go ahead and take a running leap, slamming down hard onto the earth. Right as Mitra lands, the earth begins to fall away. I need everybody to make a dexterity saving throw as you guys run from where the earth is falling through into this hole.
Wait, I'm
Safe,
like 30
safe,
feet below them,
safe.
alright?
No, you landed on the ground that they're on. You just
Oh,
landed hard. You fell.
Gotcha. I misunderstood.
Went splat.
Yeah, you basically
14.
didn't even get a hand on the rope. You just.
Oh, no,
aimed
sorry,
towards the
12.
ground. 12.
You say deck save?
Yes.
Sorry.
Do I have enough time to grab my rope?
7.
You'd be really pushing it to try and untie that length of rope. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really attached to my rope. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and just give me a dexterity check.
Best
I
hands.
guess-
Yeah.
So I rolled a 19 on the save, and on the dexterity check also a 19.
Beautiful. You manage to get your rope free and immediately take off, gaining on most of your friends. Mitra, Tyken.
I'm 7, sorry.
Okay.
18?
Beautiful. You all begin sprinting away. Tyken, it takes you a little longer to get back up onto your feet to start running. The ground itself is beginning to fall through, but it doesn't seem to be super fast. There's plenty of roots from the tree that are still holding a lot of the earth together. And you guys get a distance away, looking back where you can see the it's all starting to fall down the hole in the area. At this point, you start to hear that lightning from before that was down in the storm area at the bottom of the tower is kind of going apeshit, for lack of a better term. The earth itself and whatever's down there seem to just be getting shocked mercilessly by this storm. You begin to hear these loud kind of cries, this chittering, strange noise from down below. And the wing beats grow even louder now. You guys standing a fair distance away, you start to see just a few heads of these strange creatures kind of poke up, the wings beating as they kind of lock their hands on the edges of the hole. You guys see a collection of large insectoid creatures flying up from the bottom here, and they're searching the area heavily for something, kind of darting around quickly, flying much faster than even you fly, Tyken.
Just how many? You quick. Head,
You're seeing 3 right
head
now.
count? Just 3?
Yeah.
No, you sure? The shadows.
You're just seeing 3 right now that have poked their heads up from the hole. But you do hear that smashing noise growing even louder, and the tower itself begins to like slip and move as if something at the bottom is starting to break it. But the whole space is staying pretty dangerous. Are you guys staying nearby? Are you heading away?
I think we should
I think we should leave.
I agree.
Yeah.
What are you standing around for? And then just take off running past him.
Okay. Tyken, if you would, make me a dexterity saving.
Natural 1
Beautiful.
or a
Yikes.
0.
For a 0?
I have -1 in dexterity, so.
Okay. 1 second.
Also, that digital dice was dope because as soon as I rolled a natural 1, it turned into a mimic. That was awesome.
You immediately take 20 points of slashing and acid damage as these
Excuse me?
large gnashing teeth and fangs punch through the earth and lock down on both your legs. The smaller flying insects that you've seen, this thing is easily triple or quadruple that size. It's massive. It bites down on both legs, and you begin to feel it burning through armor and flesh alike.
Oh, I'm unconscious already, bud.
Beautiful.
Boy.
The earth around you guys begins to shatter and hum as things begin to punch through. I need initiative from everybody.
Oh yeah. We're getting the TBK treatment.
Hell yeah,
Right now.
let's fucking go.
Well,
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Yep.
Initiative, you say.
I guess
in
so.
the face of danger, when my brother needed my help most,
What the fuck?
I
I
ran.
rolled a
You fled, yeah. 14.
24.
24, beautiful.
Oh wow.
I
I
can
have
make sure you go ahead and give
endless.
me initiative as well, in case you get brought back up.
That's fine.
That also,
6.
it'll also be where you roll your death saves. 6, good to know.
Very up.
Shayenda,
I have 14.
14. Mitra,
Initiative. Button. Wow.
What's that?
12? Yeah, I don't know what button is, but yeah, 12.
Bouton.
Yeah.
Okay. So at the top of our initiative, Lara, you see your brother crushed beneath these massive fangs and jowls. I mean, he did just crash to the earth, but you see him being crushed beneath these giant gnashing teeth. You see the large insectoid head piercing the earth and lifting him up off the ground for a moment. What you doing?
So its mouth is still open, yes?
It's closed on him currently.
And there's a space in between.
Not really, no. There's some huge fang teeth slamming through him currently.
Can I see his eyes?
You can see his entire upper body. It's crushing him around the legs.
Easy fucked.
Is he? So he's trapped, correct?
As far as you can tell, yes.
Big doo-doo.
So, is there any way that I can slip a acid vial down its throat?
Give me a perception check, and I'm doing this out of the kindness of my heart as a DM.
Yeah. It's gonna be resistant.
Do I have advantage on that?
You do not.
It's okay, because I rolled double nut one, so yeah.
Nice.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you see a slot where you could pour some acid down this thing's throat.
Wait, we did that one?
Yeah?
Yep.
I mean, I guess I'll try, yeah. And, yeah, I guess I'll try and hopefully hold on to my brother.
Okay. So you're gonna pour the... We'll say you toss it as a bonus action down this thing's throat as you grab onto your brother's form. The second your hands lay on him, you realize just how he's cold. He's unconscious. You're hearing sizzling inside this thing's mouth, vial down its throat. You hear it crushed immediately by the throat muscles and these teeth all along the inside of the throat on this thing.
This monster a freak, what the hell?
Yeah, what the fuck,
No,
dude?
let's continue.
Did you make this? You crazy.
You hear the sizzling grow a slight bit louder as you drop the vial down this thing's throat. Grabbing your brother's form, you go ahead and keep hold. The head now starting to pierce up higher, seeing large shoulders and many legs coming off and getting a grip on the earth around you. basically on one of its shoulders, roughly, if a humanoid form. But you're holding onto your brother. You hear the sizzling. You don't know how much of an effect it's having currently.
My brother's being barbecued.
It's less of a
And-
barbecued. You're the daughter of an alchemist. You've heard acid work before. It sounds like that. It sounds like in the inside of this thing's mouth, not just your acid, but natural acid is activating inside of
Great.
it.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. Next on the turn order is Shinda.
Oh, fucking great. Oshanda, like sauces, but I. What? You know what? Yeah. And
I love Discord automatically muting him for that. That was so good.
Yeah, you're lucky on that one. So. Well, what's he gonna do? Well, you know, it goes, what the fuck? And then out of his mouth comes a scorching ray.
Okay.
So, wait, dude, it's been so long since I used scorching ray. I don't
Yeah.
know. I think it's
3 spell
2d6,
attacks.
so it's like, yeah, 3, and then 2d6 for each.
Yep.
Alright, let's go. Okay, so I have a 20, a 23, and a 13.
They all hit.
Wow, this thing weak as fuck. Okay. You get the damage. It's 2d6, so 6d6. Okay, so that's oh my god, fucking calculus.
Oculus.
5, 9, 14, 17 damage. Fire.
17 damage. Good to know.
Whoa! And also, Shine does keep on fucking running, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
in the general direction away from things.
Okay. All right. You hear this thing cry out, and you can see now it kind of peels back the heavy lids of kind of chitinous skin and leather away from the eyes. The eyes are a bright red that burns. It has 2 mini-lensed eyes, kind of like a fly. You hear the teeth trying to gnash around the form of Tyken's armored body, and then as you hit it with the scorching rays, it kind of cries for a moment, and Lara, you do feel the grip lessen, but it's still holding on. Mitra, what's up?
Where's my sheet? What is up is barbarian things. So, I mean, this all happens really quickly, and it's like, just more like survival mechanism kicks in. Like, oh no, we've been ambushed by some weird monster during the night. That's like the closest thing to relate that to. So, Great Axe out. She's going to rage, and she's going to make a little cosmetic cut on her cheek. Let's see if this does anything as part of her rage. So she's going to swing the Great Axe at the creature's mouth after closing the distance, which I presume she's able to do.
Very much so, yeah. Tyken only has a 30 move speed, so you guys can literally walk to catch up to where he got pinched from.
What a lad. So we'll turn rage on, and we'll use the Great Axe swing. What is that? That is 14.
Hits.
14 hits. Let's roll
This thing
damage.
is no way to. I bet
That
9.
is 12, then plus 2 for 14 points of slashing. And then, yeah, there is going to be like a single kind of like spectral whoosh of air. It doesn't really quite make sense. It's going to be a spooky spirit that is going to give discreet on attacking anyone else that isn't Mitra.
Okay.
Let me just paste that into the chat so that you can be more familiar with it.
You too, kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Yep, and
Awesome.
that is it, and she ends her turn.
Okie dokie. Tyken. Go ahead and roll me your death saving throw.
14.
One success.
Solid.
The world, for your perspective, you ran a few steps. You were like, yeah, let's get the fuck out of here. You started running. Suddenly you were lifted a few feet off the ground. Everything started to tilt in a strange direction because your legs are pinched and lifted into the air. In a heartbeat, everything goes black. The pain was immense and then was gone. You're back, standing in that black city. The hammer clanging noisily inside that building you saw. You're seeing sparks come from every window, every door. Far too many for normal smith work, by any means. Embers hang in the air in unnatural ways, and you hear shrieks of strange creatures at the edge of perception. And we'll come back to it on your next turn. It's at this point that the massive beast begins to start pulling him down in under the ground. Lara, you are standing on top of this thing. If you stay atop, it will pull you under as well. As it starts to move, you feel that this thing is far larger than yourself, and you know it'd have the strength to pull you, and in fact, most of this party down into the earth if it needed to. What are you doing?
So, I realize this thing has acid in its mouth, right?
Yes. You now realize after giving it some more acid.
I don't know.
It's
Oh my god.
this
Awesome.
type of acid, which hopefully I'm familiar with, is it explosive?
That you know of. You know what? Go ahead and give me a history check.
Are there such things as explosive acid?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Why
How does
not?
the explosion mind?
I mean,
I
that's
hit
fair.
What you got?
8.
8. You're thinking as fast as you can. And for once in your life, all of the time you spent physically seems to have put your skill set more in the realm of physicality and less in the realm of knowing every little supply that your father ever worked with. You start to realize that this is some variant of an on-keg. They're used in many places in alchemy. But you're not sure if this thing is explosive, and even if it was, if it would, even if you knew it could explode, if it wouldn't kill your brother in this moment.
I mean, let's accept it. He's dead, right? He's fucking dead. Let's just give it up, right?
That's my brother you're talking about.
I still
I'm
have
not, Shane does
more
not say it.
saves.
I'm
This ain't
saying
over yet.
Shane does not say
Let
shit.
me think.
This is Asher being like, be fucking real.
Okay, wait. How bad do his legs work? Like, can I cut through them?
What? Wait, who's like?
You would be
Your legs, yeah.
you would be
What?
hard pressed to take a dagger inside this thing's mouth and take his legs off with a single blow.
Dude,
You think
have
you
you-
have seconds to get away from this thing before you're pulled into the earth as well.
Okay, in that case, I am going to use the Kisarigama.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I have seconds to throw it towards Mitra
Yeah.
while holding on to my brother. Holding on to my brother's arm.
There's
And
one way this
I'll-
works.
Yeah.
You will be rolling an attack with the Kusarigama to try and basically use Mitra as a log in this moment. You'd be throwing this rope knife, this curved rope knife, into your friend to try and give it an anchor.
Exactly, because this monster will now take my brother.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a regular attack with it.
Or really
24.
24 definitely hits Mitra. Go ahead and roll the damage.
Is it at
Rounded
disadvantage?
to not at all. They're all. I mean, everyone's still standing in the open, very close to one
Wait,
another.
Isn't that thing that he put in the Discord say disadvantage on the next attack roll? Is that what it is? I can't see.
It's for the animal, not for
Oh, I
you
got you.
guys.
I got you.
So you go ahead and Mitra, you'll take, I believe, 2 damage. I don't think
Yep.
we round up, we round down. So
Just run down. Oh, as
Yep.
far as I'm aware. Yeah.
so you take 2 damage as you feel a rope knife slam into one of your shoulders, and you see Lara looking panicky. Lara, you're keeping a hold?
I will hold on to my brother with all I have. It's not taking my brother.
How are
I don't know
you
what it's
keeping a
taking
hold
down
of the
there,
rope?
but,
Are you just
yeah,
wrapping it
hand,
around one of your
hand.
arms?
Do I have time for that?
Yeah, I would say you have time to wrap it around yourself, but if you do, you do need to understand that any tension could lead to severe damage to an arm.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
I think I would only have time to like wrap it around like the wrist and then the arm. I don't think I would have time to wrap it around like because it's only seconds, so that's probably the best I can do.
Okay. So you wrap it around one of your arms and get ready to take the ride of your life.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And now Laura's armless.
It's at about this point, Shayanda, as you're watching Lara do all of
Why
this.
me?
I
I didn't ask for anything. I was chilling fine.
Pretty sure
Yeah,
you're next
yeah,
in
it is.
initiative roll, but
It's at about this point, Shayanda, that you begin to hear those wing beats grow louder as 3 of those smaller forms of the Ankegs with wings come flying towards you. Kind of large, almost praying mantis-like bodies sailing through the air, claws at the ready, these vicious hooks that run along the forearms of these things kind of flying towards all of you. You think you have about a turn, roughly, before they arrive and start fighting themselves. What are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, we're measuring time in turns.
6 seconds. You have 6 seconds. Okay.
7 minutes.
What I'm gonna do is. Okay. DM, what are those? They're like, yeah, you said praying mantises, right?
Yeah, they're roughly human-sized praying mantises.
Would I possibly know through experience what are those types of insects natural predators or enemies they would not they would fear?
Go ahead and roll me either survival or nature, we'll say.
Okay.
to be fair, there's YouTube video out there of praying mantises like eating lizards.
Yeah, they ice
I don't want to hear
everything
all
they
it.
touch.
Shut up. So that's blah blah blah.
I don't mean like tiny lizards. I mean like.
bonus. That's good. Well, I'm not a tiny lizard, so
I'm just saying.
I'm a big man. Well, I'm not big, but I'm a man. That's a natural one.
Natural one.
You don't know shit.
Yep. So
You dig as deep as you can. The only thing that comes to mind is in one of the houses that you stayed in for a time, someone had a large mounted head very akin to the big one that you're seeing eat Tyken currently. But you can't think of what other than people would be able to kill something like this in the wild.
okay, then we're gonna go back to plan necrotic bolt. Gonna throw a necrotic bolt. Like sort of like over the shoulder.
As you run
dab.
even further away.
Chain the dabs while throwing a necrotic bolt. Okay.
I take psychic damage as a DM.
Natural 20, bro. Woo!
Beautiful. Go ahead and roll that
Okay.
damage and double it.
That's 1d10. So let's fucking go. That's a
2.
1. 2 damage. Fucking Jesus.
Oh, that's so good.
What? This could have been so good. Oh my god.
Okay. You let loose a surprisingly effective necrotic bolt, only to see it scattered mostly by the armor of this thing's form.
Well, might as well have let loose some fort for all the good.
You again see it start to. You see some of those black veins appear in the gaps between the chitin, but it certainly doesn't look that beat up yet.
Okay, so the thingies are coming roughly from the tower's vicinity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just gonna run away from the tower and back
Okay.
to the mines.
Gotcha. So you're running into the forest, getting away from everything.
Yeah, fuck all that. Fuck all
Okay.
that. I mean, still, I'll look out for Laura.
Yep.
I'm not like fucking running from it. I mean, I am running for my life, but like, not so fast.
Got other things to do. All right, Mitra.
Right. So
You also would be feeling this thing start to pull itself under the earth.
yeah, she's not responding. It's not a battlefield assessment. It's just more of pure. Okay, I'm reacting to everything I hear, see, think, and feel. right now. So she feels this. She thinks this is hopeless. Standing here is death. Like it is a very real thing to her. The Kuri's Sagawa, the sickle thingy. You know, it just takes a moment for her to realize this is like whipped into her, and like she's like, you know, like, oh, Laura's down there. She wrapped this around her arm. She glances at Taikin for briefly, and it's just kind of like, you know, she doesn't want to say it. She doesn't want to consciously acknowledge it, but she kind of understands. So taking the spickle, it's tied to a rope tied to Laura's arm, right?
Yep.
Okay. She's going to pull on it to pull Lara out, and she's going to. Wait, does that count as an action?
If you're trying to like rip, you know, Lara
Oh.
and possibly parts of Taiken with yourself, yes.
Long live the king.
Okay. I'll explain what I want to do. What I want to do is that I want to have Mitra also leave, right? And I guess theoretically, if she's holding onto this thing that's tied to Laura, like the two are, well, Lara is gonna come with
At
her.
least.
Like that's
Okay.
what she's trying to do, right? So,
So you're
I was
just trying
asking
to
if-
pull and run in the same turn.
Yeah. So, and it's like I understand that if that's an action, I can't do the dash action.
Yeah.
And if you're moving another object with something like half speed, so I don't.
I
wanna
mean,
move
I would
50.
say,
Mhm.
I would say you could dash. It would be, you would basically just roll athletics the way you would if you were trying to pull, and we'll just say that you, as a barbarian, have enough ass and heft to just sprint away and hope it pulls everyone with you.
Yeah, that's exactly what she wants to go for. Let's roll athletics.
Absolutely. I believe at advantage because of rage.
That is correct. It is a strength check. Okay, let's roll this again.
You're not
15.
15, you said?
Yep, 15 athletics at advantage.
Lara, go ahead and roll me an athletics check to keep a hold of your brother's form as you are yoinked heartily by this massive form of a barbarian.
Second, I hope you like playing a character without legs, because I'm a little spectacular on this one. Athletics, yeah?
I mean, I can see Mithra pulling someone's torso off their legs, but like,
I rolled a 10.
You feel the tension on the rope grow and grow. You feel it dig into your arm. You take 4 points of slashing damage as the rope grows tighter and tighter, starting to dig through the leather that wraps in your arms and into the skin. And then you feel your offhand, the one that holds Taiken, slip. Your grip gone in that moment. You pulled from this thing's form. Mitra sprinting into the distance, dragging you as far as she can. Do you have anything you want to say to your brother in this moment?
I mean, given the situation, I think Laura would just say, no, Mitra, stop, Mitra, stop, he's still down there, I can save him while being pulled up.
And Mitra, knowing your character as I do, I assume you keep running.
That's exactly it. She's like, there we go. This is, no, you know what? This is grand. Yes, she does keep running. Though, of course, you know, this is kind of like her internal thoughts. Clueless. But yes, she keeps going. Like, that's not, she doesn't respond or anything. It's just kind of like, I need to go. And Laura coming is like something on top, but it's not mandatory.
Yeah.
But, you know, she's not gonna go, oh, fine, fuck off then. No, she's gonna keep going.
Okay. An act of survival from our chief survival executive.
Yo, survival.
You, the three of you, begin running. I guess technically two, but Mitra, having the shrink she does, drags you along without too much effort. Lara. Taiken.
Or it's just bouncing behind her on the roof.
Yeah. Literally being dragged across the ground.
Yeah.
Taiken, you stand at the doorway into this forge space. you see a large, almost, he's much larger than a human, the size of a Goliath maybe, but even slightly bigger. Black hair that flows down to mid-back. He wears some heavy leathers, some smithing leathers that look wearied beyond years, threadbare in many places. He holds in one hand a massive black iron hammer that he just beats away at a longsword with. The sword itself is a deep red inlaid with these faint gold runes along the blade. And in his other hand, he holds that blade, and you see something pinched in between the sword and his hand. This strange, faint, silvery gold light stays inside that left hand. And as he beats away, that light grows more and more faint. He doesn't turn, doesn't seem to notice you're even there, just works. Unbending. He's not breathing heavily. I mean, you don't even see movement on his person. It's like he's done this forever and will do it forevermore. Roll me perception, real quick.
20. You notice it's a blacksmith.
And I've never seen one of these before.
14.
14. You hear the hum of someone, like, happily singing to themselves under their breath, as if they were going about their day's chores, but it's not coming from him. It's coming from that wisp in his offhand. And as he hammers away at the sword, it grows more and more faint, and the tune grows more sad and hopeless. As he starts to finish the sword, as he goes to quench it, the flames that come from the large oil stock, the tall piece of metal that holds it, they come out black, but they still exude light, this deep, heavy, not evil, but strange flame. Go ahead and roll me a death saving throw, Tyken. Okay, another success. The vision starts to tilt and fade strangely. For a heartbeat, you can feel that pain again, spreading from your legs into your lower chest. And then you start to feel yourself pulled into the rocks. The earthen ground, studded with many a stone, begins to crash into your form as this thing drags you under. You swear for a moment you hear Lara crying out, "No, let me save him. My brother, he's back there." You take 2 death saving throws as your form is battered by the earth and stone here.
So roll 2 more?
No, you take 2 instant failures.
Oh, I see what you mean. I got you.
It functions like a melee attack.
I misunderstood. Gotcha. Okay.
We're technically out of turn order, but Lara, Cheyenne, and Mitra, is there anything in this moment that you guys are doing other than just running for your lives?
Dash action.
Okay.
He's running harder. He's running faster.
No, okay. To be real, I think Shina can't fucking keep up with Mitra.
Even dragging another person,
Yeah. So he sees that he's being, he's being so not quite left behind, but he's running short. So he's gonna try and look around, look back, see if he's being pursued.
It looks like 2 of the flying forms have started to break for the woods and chase you guys.
God fucking shitballs. I guess I'll. Oh yeah, I will go fucking full Naruto jutsu and cast Silent Image.
Okay.
And can I make several copies? I think it's just one for Silent Image. Silent Image. I'm gonna hope these fucks are not super great on hearing. So Silent Image, the image of an object, it's only one. No larger than 15 foot cube. Okay, I mean a 15-foot cube, that's pretty big, right? That means I could fit 3 people looking like they're running.
Yeah.
Right? I will try to make that happen. sort of like, when they don't have around a corner or a bend or whatever, it will get a silent image, or rather when it's shined at casting things, it just sort of happens next to him. It doesn't, it's not really him voluntarily doing anything. And so basically each, all three of us, we have like a body double that sort of like sprouts out of thin air, and then they sort of like go their own opposite way, and try to make these fucks, pursue.
Go ahead and roll me a wild magic check as well.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, I love that. I mean, I did natural 1, natural 20, so now's the time. 9.
9. Okay. You loose the spell after breaking line of sight between some of the trees and some of the ridges here in the forest. As you guys kind of take a running leap down off of a high point in the ground and kind of land in a divot. Instead of your forms just doing that, it's like suddenly 3 more of you appear and they bolt off hard right. You hear the wing beats start to chase those images. You may have confused them for a time. They don't seem entirely too clever. You're starting to pick up that these things are certainly animalistic in their hunting and hunger. Okay. Anything from Mitra as you drag Lara along?
Anything from Mitra? Well, I'd wait the rate is kind of worn off at this point.
I would say, because of the fact that you have a rope knife stuck in you.
Oh yeah, she's probably.
You're certainly still very not happy.
One way to put it.
You're literally dragging someone from a knife planted in a shoulder. It's not a fun time.
Okay, so roughly how much distance have we covered? What I had in mind was that I was thinking maybe instead of just dragging her along, like, fend for yourself, buddy. It's kind of like let me rein you in and maybe get you on your feet, or at worst I can actually carry you rather than having you be dragged on the ground. That's what she kind of wants to do.
The rope knife isn't super long. You'd certainly have had time to reel in Lara, as it were. Lara, what are you doing in this moment?
So as soon as Mitra stops for a moment to like get sorted and stuff, she will just stand there, and I guess you guys would see that she's just standing there, and she'll just be whispering, but it's not really audible. And at some point it just turns into, I need to go back. He needs my help. I know he's still there. I need to go back, and she'll just start stepping towards where they came from.
Don't be stupid. He's gone.
No.
Yes, he
can't
is.
be gone. No.
Mitra, can you knock some sense into her?
He thinks about doing that literally. Hey DM, how much else does Laura have? Like, I wonder if she could just go bow, just take it up. No, I'm kidding. She doesn't actually want to do that. But she is going to calmly but forcefully put a hand on Laura's shoulder, like kind of try and keep her in place to not walk by too far, and then she will say with with restraint, because she hasn't actually removed this out of her arm yet. She's going to say, "What are you going back there for? To die too?"
I promise to keep him safe. I'm going to save my brother.
You did not make promises easy. Forget about it. For now, we are still in danger. We need to leave.
If I leave now, I don't even have any remains. I can't just leave him, right? I mean, he was unconscious. We didn't see him die. So maybe.
Do you want to risk your life to find us out? Is that what he wanted? For you to throw away yours? That he might be alive?
No,
then think. And live. Or be stupid and die. Then she removes her hand from Laura's shoulder. And takes a step or two back. Like, she's not going to stop someone from, like, going to kill themselves if that's what they really want to do. But, you know, she said her piece, so she's tried.
Laura, it's at about this moment that you feel what I can only describe as a heavy weight fall in the pit of your stomach. A feeling of realization, of harsh truth. And you hear Cadeline's voice at the back of your mind. You just gonna throw it all away?
It's my brother. I can't just leave. I can't even bury him.
Then do what you will. And you feel her presence fade, but that knot in your gut stays. A sensation not too unfamiliar.
Laura will turn around, facing Mitra. I think Mitra was basically in front, right? Well, not in front of, yeah. And go towards wherever we were going with tears in our eyes, and just keep walking step by step, even though it's difficult. Sometimes these difficult decisions have to be made.
And as you all begin pushing through the woods, a man lighter, you take the familiar path back to the longhouse. Tyken, as you feel the last of your true corporeal form leave this world, the blacksmith turns from his seat at the forge, looks you in the eyes, and he looks so familiar, it's like a face you've known your whole life, but you never knew you knew it. He turns, and with a grin and eyes that belie 1,000 years of evil, there's no kindness in this smile. He reaches towards you, that left hand empty now, and he pulls a wisp of silvery gold from your chest and begins to start on a new sword. And that's where we'll take our break. So, you all take some time heading back towards the longhouse, pushing through woods, sort of unfamiliar territory. You guys stayed in the open as best you could the first path through. You're now down a man, naturally. Who is taking point on leading everyone back to the longhouse currently?
It could be Mitra.
I will never, ever, you hear me? Never, ever be the first man to
Then it's Mitra. Mitra's taking point.
Okay, go ahead and roll me survival, Mitra.
Survival. 14.
Awesome. You guys push through some tree, like forested areas and then into a swamp. You assume you're on the opposite side of the swamp that you guys leave through, coming back to the longhouse. It takes you some time, but you pass through fairly unharmed in the forested area, and once you arrive at the swamp, you do notice there are more paths that spider out from this point, almost as if this path that you walked led to another trail of some kind that was made by the previous group that stayed in the longhouse. You see a path that splits off to the right, which would be going north, and then you see another path that's splitting off south. But you also just see one that seems to be cutting straight through the swamp itself.
Are there any tracks?
Go ahead and you already rolled survival. You would see plenty of animal tracks, but no like humanoid, footprint paths. You do see looks like heavy drag marks that lead off to the north. You would assume with a high enough survival like that it's probably those large centipede creatures that you've seen a few times now. One of them moving. But you don't see any tracks going due south or going into the swamp itself.
Okay. Tries to make a mental note of that before. Well, that's probably a wrap on the day, I think. I think it's back to the shack. Back to the longhouse, I mean.
You all take the fairly unsafe path. Go ahead and give me stealth if you would. As you guys know, you have enemies in these here woods.
We're in the wrong neighborhood.
11.
7.
21.
Okay. Mitra, you take some time and really get comfortable here in the swamps. You start to move much more smoothly than the rest of your party, stepping over any would-be stumble points or loud noises in terms of cracking wood or stepping down hard into mud and making a splash. Your friends, not so much. They move a little too hastily at times, causing some crashing and thundering, but you guys seem to make it through unharmed, unscathed. About halfway through the swamp space, Mitra, you feel a flick on the back of your head. Tiny hands of some kind.
Mitra will assume she knows what caused this. Okay. Because there's only one creature that has done this to her more than once in the last few hours.
Yeah.
And she doesn't respond verbally. Rather, she kind of like raises a hand and extends a finger as if to be like, give her a break, but that's as far as she goes in terms of her response for now.
It's at about this point that you see the fluttering wings of that deep pixie kind of take off from the back of your heavy stone that you've been carrying all this time somehow. The MacGuffin, as you so love to call it. It takes off and gets right in your face and then kind of like grabs at your face and tries to turn you to the right. The wings kind of beating against you. It's a strange, feeling. But it tries to lead you off the path and deeper into the woods, off to this right side. Basically due north. Or due south, rather.
Thinking emoji. That's what she does, right? She stops in her track and she turns to look in the direction that she's been ushered. And then she just says, or rather asks, why?
It comes face to face again, plants the hands on either side of your face. Go ahead and roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, wisdom save.
Hey, bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing,
by Pixie.
bada boom. Hey, that's a 9.
Beautiful. This time you resist the natural urge to shrug off any mental implantation effects. And you see very quickly these flashing images of the swamp for a time, and then it pushes into new woods. You assume probably the woods that you guys walked by originally when you were walking upriver. It moves for another short time, and then it shows inlaid in the ground much finer stone than you would expect, inlaid with these kind of gold crags that fill the space, a very marble-like pattern, and it shows a set of doors that look like they open kind of like a crawl space or a basement door, just sitting in the middle of the woods. And then you're back in your own senses, the pixie still holding your face, just kind of floating a few inches away.
There's a mix of like, what the fuck, and that was interesting, but it's mostly what the fuck because she does try to resist those sorts of intrusions. So there is I'd say a knee-jerk. What? Like,
Yeah.
like what the hell? But then, like, she'll take a moment to consider what it is that she saw before bringing it up with the others, and briefly, probably not well explaining to the others what she saw, and it's like off in the swamps. Further away, I saw something. Seems we're being led somewhere. She's still kind of confused from the whole ordeal. She's not one to give into visions.
What? Wait, what?
Oars and cross ship. It's gold. Visions of gold.
Shouldn't we just go back to the house?
Yeah, kind of things where that was kind of stupid to be led like that. I suppose consider things. Perhaps rest. But it doesn't change our circumstances, no matter how grim it may have recently gotten.
And it's at about this point that the pixie tries to come up onto your face and touch you again. You swat it off kilter, and it kind of stays a good arm's distance away now, just kind of looking at all of you. The big black eyes, the deep blue skin.
What do you want?
It holds out the hands, trying to show you that it wants to touch you in some way.
No. Phew. Go away.
Keeps flitting, about an arm's distance away, looking at you.
Mitra, tell her to fuck off.
She's looking at the pixie and looks at Shaenda, and this kind of shakes her head and says, "No, this small one is oddly insistent."
Oh yeah, that's the problem.
Lara, at this point, it tries to come and touch you. Are you paying any attention to your surroundings at this moment?
No.
Go ahead and roll me a wisdom saving throw.
By the way, you don't have to roll it if you don't want to. You can just
Sure,
let it
you
happen.
could say
You can
no.
also let it out.
Well, I rolled a 6.
Beautiful. You see the same images projected into your mind deep in the woods far north of here, or rather south, my bad. There's a similar set of doors, like I described, sitting basically, I mean, other than that, the woods look completely normal. It's just a set of doors that stay there. And then you come back to your senses, the pixie's huge black eyes, almost the size of yours, directly in front of your face.
Can I just not swat it? But
Yeah, just move it out of the way.
Yeah.
It comes back to rest on the black eye stone that you carry. Mitra. So, where are we headed?
Where are we dropping, boys?
I don't fucking know.
I think we go church, man. Church has such good loot.
Really?
I feel so old, I don't even know what these references are. I don't play any battle royales anymore.
I think for now, Mitra will return to the longhouse. I think they'd probably need time to make sense of what's happened, especially if there is no imminent vibes of immediate danger, that sort of thing. Like there's no reason to make a detour.
Wow. So, do you have a variant, a barbarian variant on Danger Sense? It's Danger Vibe instead?
I wish. The vibes are off. The vibes are off. I'm ready to fucking roll out the way.
So,
I wish.
at some point, Laura, as we walk, will just say, Mitra,
Yes.
that thing that took Ty Is it one of those that is afterwards?
She stops to think. No,
Don't look anything
is-
like it.
it is, yeah. It feels of this world.
Okay.
Why?
I guess I kind of figured that maybe I could somehow get revenge, but if it's just like any other animal.
From what I know, revenge often takes you off course. You act differently than how you should. You don't live to live, you live to kill. What sort of existence is that?
I suppose
Okay.
it's not the way he would have wanted me to live.
Yes, I remember within our clan, they say, those you know do not die until you have forgotten about them. That's why we sing songs and tell tales and etch their names and deeds onto our skin, so they forever live. Perhaps you can remember him for what he did, and well, not the circumstances of his death.
I think you're right. I just don't know if I'm ready to fully accept his death.
None of us are ready to die, Nora. None of us. Death finds us, not the other way around.
I'm feeling more ready by the hour. I'll say I'm tired. Real tired.
Indeed. We should rest for a time. Still our minds and continue.
So you begin the short path back to the longhouse. Take a fairly safe route, and arriving back, you see the same door that lies open, one you never had time to fix yet. The home seems undisturbed, nothing's missing. The same stains lie on the floor from the previous tenants, but your things lie undisturbed.
Are there any pieces of wood? If not, can Laura take the time to find some pieces of wood to make a grave out of them?
You certainly would have
Or-
had time to collect any wood you would have needed along the path back.
And I guess I would have to use my dagger. Do I have? Yeah, I don't have.
It's a good thing you have a magical dagger that won't bend when you carve with it.
Yeah, I'll carve his name in it and just make it like just outside, like not too far. Just outside the longhouse. And I guess if possible, I'll also be looking for some flowers to put on the grave.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go too far away from the longhouse. Like I want to keep it really close.
There are some small patches of wildflowers that seem especially hardy. Some of them grow through the snow that lays in certain places around here. And so you go ahead and pick some of these kind of powder blue lilies that grow through and go ahead and put them next to the grave as well. You
Would
take some
I
time.
know what god Tychon believes in?
Absolutely. I mean, you grew up in the town, you know.
We all did.
The Temple of Farrier was one of the biggest buildings in your town of White Spire, so you certainly would know that it's, technically that's who he follows.
So then, at some point, Laura will actually take all of her gear down. That's battle gear, not like actual clothes. And,
Gets naked.
Yeah, and just start praying for Tychon to have good return and a good rest.
Yeah.
And hopefully, if possible, for somehow and some reason to perhaps see him again. But if not, for him to be at rest and be at peace.
Yeah. Go ahead and, just for my own sake, roll me a religion check.
A 9.
Good to know. You take some time trying to remember what few lessons you did pick up from the temple. It certainly wasn't one of your favorite places, a place you avoided as much as you could in your life. But you know that Farrier was a god of lineage and many titles, and you hope that the memory will live on, that peace will be found by your brother.
And afterwards, I guess you'll head inside, not hearing a bell. She will see what the rest is up to as she walks in. She'll also say, Shayenda?
What? I'm busy. Be staring at the wall.
Look, what do your people usually do after someone passes? Like, do you have some kind of ritual?
Huh? My people?
I mean, how are you coping with loss? I mean, we've both lost someone already, and I guess I'm just wondering how you're coping with it.
With your brother?
No, I mean, your daughter.
Well, I'm not copying at all, that's why we're here.
But you seem to keep your head on your shoulders, and I just wonder if there's some kind of secret to staying sane.
Right. You think I'm sane? Maybe you're going crazy.
You seem to do better than me. It's not like you tried to dive in and nearly get killed for saving someone that was beyond saving.
Emotions can make you do weird things. Nothing new. I guess you get tamer with age. It's not as hard to think before you act. So I guess you should get older. That's my advice.
If it was me, would you have tried to save me?
I don't know. Probably not.
Why?
Because he was very clearly dead. Don't make it a if, coulda, woulda, shoulda, okay? This is not how it works. Death sucks, and it ain't pretty, and it doesn't come when it's expected, or comfortable, or anything. It just comes, and you have to deal with it, and if you can't, then that's on you.
Yeah, okay. And Laura will just go over to the setup with the alchemy and just start like not making anything, just doing random things. Like for once in her life, she's actually using alchemist tools without a purpose.
Yeah. Shayenda, Mitra, what are you guys doing this evening before falling to rest?
Well, I'm not done with Laura, to be honest.
Okay.
While she's working, he's gonna go back eventually. So, your brother,
Yes.
I saw he could heal people.
Yes.
And the others at the church, they could also.
I believe so, yes.
So what didn't they do anything?
What do you mean?
You know what I mean.
You're asking me why my brother didn't heal himself?
Not himself. Are you playing stupid on purpose?
I'm sorry, it's been a really tough day.
All
Are
right.
you asking me why I
Whatever.
didn't heal my brother?
No, I'm not talking about you. Not everything is about you.
And who could have possibly healed my
Good
brother?
night. And leave.
I really don't understand.
Chanda's just going to sleep.
Okay. No dinner is made this evening. You are left to rations. Mitra, is there anything you'd like to do this evening before going to rest? Or taking first watch as you are so prone to do?
She's going to reflect on her day and reflect on how she hasn't wrote in a while. And she thinks she'll go another night without writing. The events of the day don't actually weigh that heavy on her. This is life. These things happen. Maybe this was riskier than a day-to-day activity, but these things happen. And yeah, her view of life and death is probably not as complex or like as burdened down with like I guess what we would consider to be real emotional weight behind death, because it's all like a cycle to her. So it's just kind of like, well, this is an unfortunate time for that cycle to start, but it's happening. She's going to think more about what it is that she saw. Of course, she doesn't sleep with the MacGuffin tied to her back. It would be tied up against a wall near to wherever it was that she slept. Like at least it was in arm's reach, that sort of thing. So in a situation, she can grab it and maybe heft it and run if she can't get it on her back. But she's going to look at it, and then she's going to try and seek out the pixie by calling out little one and looking here and there to see if it shows or not.
It doesn't take too long before the pixie flits over. It had been playing up in the kind of banister upper areas of the roof, and it comes down and sits on the black eye stone, kind of looking at you.
She's very hesitant. This isn't something that she likes to do or is particularly interested in, but then she gets closer and tries to get to eye level to where it is, which may or may not require getting down on a knee.
Yeah,
And
it certainly does.
and then she says, "That place, show me it again."
This time it plants a hand on the stone itself and a hand on you. As it does so, you drop the defenses for a moment, I assume.
Yeah.
You see, this time in finer detail, the door stands in the woods. There's a small crack on the right side. You actually see the pixie's memory of it pushing through a small gap in the door, just barely big enough for it to fit through. It pushes inside, and inside of this place is what looks like some type of a dig. the ground itself has been penetrated, and you see this kind of massive layout of old stone structures, very akin to the tower that you just saw. Inside lie a myriad of what look to be humanoid skeletons that lay strewn about this place. But the thing that catches your eye the most is towards the back of this dig as it flies around kind of... It's hard to stay focused. You're seeing through the eyes of this creature that acts almost entirely on will and intent. It's just kind of moving quickly, looking at everything, taking in as much information as it can. At the back edge of the room, after a time, it flies back and through another set of doorways. The gaps, again, these stone doors they're not perfectly made. They seem hurried. The construction isn't nearly as fine as even the rudimentary construction of the tower. You look inside and you see a form of a drow man standing underneath this beam of purple light. It pierces from a large stone, very akin to the Black Eye Stone, and the light is just shining down on him. He's kind of held in an, for lack of a better description, like a Christ-like arms akimbo state. He's not breathing. The eyes are shut. This person is just frozen in space and time.
Animation.
Yeah, some form of a stasis or something like that. And he just lie in wait deep within these ruins. You don't see what would have killed the other people here. You just see skeletons strewn about, construction tools. The notes are written. There are plenty of notes written on tables about the place, but the pixie doesn't ever linger long enough to give you any good read on them. But this person draws the pixie's attention. She kind of flies up to him right in his face and just stares at him for a while, and then starts to fly back, and as that happens, you drop from the vision again, back into your own form in the longhouse.
Yeah, she kind of like, things are a bit dizzy as she adjusts. It was informative, but she didn't like any moment of it, and there is this like very deep-seated worry that she'll never admit, but it's kind of like, what the am I doing right now? It's all very panicked, and it feels like it takes forever, but it resolves itself in a few seconds. And he's kind of, her breathing has picked up a bit, but as she calms down, she makes sense of what she saw, or tries to at least. There's not much sense that's really to it, but it is something somewhere that wasn't here or the tower. So as she recovers, she will close her eyes, slowly nod, and then say thank you. She will extend a finger to kinda that would be her way of giving it a pat over the head. Carefully, she's aware of her strength.
Yeah.
And
Crush.
Oops! I was trying to show you affection. No, then she'll get up. Look for the other two. She doesn't say anything. She just looks for them. Once she's seen them, she'll announce that she's going to begin her watch, and then she will go to do that.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a perception check. And while you do so, you do notice one thing about the pixie that you hadn't noticed before. While the pixie sits on the Black Eye Stone, you can see her kind of tracing her finger along these runes, these gouges along the surface of it. And as she does so, they do alight with just a touch of that same blue energy you saw when you opened the portal that spat you all out here. But it's not to the same degree. It's very minute, just a flicker of blue light that appears in each of the runes as she traces them with her fingers. And eventually she loses interest and flies up into the rafters again to go look at whatever she's been looking at up there. Before kind of falling from your vision. Hard to track something that small while sitting still at the far side of the room.
And the perception check, that was an 8.
Beautiful. You're beginning to get better at least keeping an eye on this place without falling asleep. You may not have the most watchful eye, but you do keep your watch. Partway through the night, you hear that loud chitinous clacking again at the outskirts of the woods, before everything falls silent for a moment and you hear distant clatter as something assuredly was eaten by those centipedes in the swamp. But your watch is fairly uneventful other than that. Who do you awaken for second watch?
You don't have to, because Shanda's like, he turns in his bed again and again. He can't sleep, so he'll sit with you for a bit.
Yeah, she doesn't say anything to him. She just kind of offers him a nod before she moves to go have a nap of her own.
Hey, wait.
He stops and turns around.
You'll do right by us, right?
What do you mean?
You're not some kind of... you're real, aren't you?
She looks at Shanda for a moment, then looks at herself, down up, just kind of like...
all these stories about monsters and your clan and your tribal and all that danger that you're in. I'm just scared for Laura. I don't think she'll make it on her own.
Mitra doesn't immediately respond. As long as Shanda would let it, there's probably a silence for maybe a good minute while she stands there. She doesn't look away. He's not like dead staring at him, but it's just kind of like, she's thinking, but she's not socially competent, so it takes her a moment. And then she says, the horrors are real. Terribly so. And, well, as I said, back when we all got together to begin this journey, I would try my best to look after all of you. I make no promises, but I will try. With the girl, I understand. Well, I think I do. But
good enough.
okay, and with that, she turns to leave.
All right. Shanda, if you would, roll me perception as you keep watch over the group.
Alright. 15?
Much more watchful eye than your barbarian friend this evening. You sit, not only focused inward, but focused outward. And everything is painfully still this evening. The forest itself has very few noises. Occasionally you hear the pixie moving around in the space, but other than that, it stays painfully quiet. Do you choose to awaken Lara so that you can get some sleep this evening?
Shanda's not waking me up.
Taking second watch as well, then. Third watch as well. Okay. You maintain that focus. The exhaustion sets in, but you stay very much aware of your surroundings. But the night stays fairly cold and completely silent. What would be morning comes, and you all arise at your times. Mitra, as you awaken, the pixie has taken to sleeping in one of your open palms on your bed.
Metal Gear Rise and just remove the fucking spine. No. He looks at the pixie and it's kind of like, oh, I don't want to move. But she knows she has to. So as carefully as she can, she tries to slip the pixie down onto where she was laying before getting up, stretching, and then going to check on the others.
Dianda, you can consider yourself under 1 point of exhaustion this evening.
Okay. But you don't find Shahinda.
Okay. Lara, I assume you're still in the longhouse?
Yes.
Okay, so Mitra finds Lara. Doesn't say anything to her. I guess vanishes for a bit. Comes back. And then says, "Where is the old man?"
What do you mean?
She kind of looks to her left and her right. And is not with you.
No, I was asleep.
She purses her lips and steps out of the longhouse and just casts a cursory glance about.
Okay. Shahinda, where are you in this moment?
You remember that guy who was slumped against a tree and Shanda got a cheese wheel out of him?
Yeah.
Well, Shanda's sort of mirroring his position.
Mitra, you take a hard look around, don't see anything.
After not seeing anything, steps back into the longhouse and says, "Get your stuff, we need to find him." She goes to grab her favorite MacGuffin and readies that. And she just heads back outside. She's not gonna wait for Laura. She's gonna head back outside. She. It might be rough, but Laura either pulls away or she doesn't. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, she goes out of the longhouse and kind of rolls around the place briefly just to get a better overview. Is he in the immediate area? And if not, she's going to begin trying to look for any track marks.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can see him pretty visibly against one of the tree near the old corpse of the cheese wheel. And he's slumped.
Mitra is going to break into a jog, not a full run, but she's going to jog on over and try to take a look at him. Getting down on her knee, she brings her hand to his face and gently taps his cheek.
His head was slack. His eyes are glassy. He's cold. There's blood on his wrists. Weapon in hand. There's an urn next to him. Looks precious. With a bunch of ash spread about on the ground. He doesn't breathe.
I think it's probably not Mitra's first rodeo around possibly dead bodies. So just to be clear, is this a dead body she's interacting with?
Yeah.
Okay. After figuring that out, there's a pause, and she gets up and looks at the body just for a moment before turning around to return to the longhouse to see whether that's somewhere, if Laura was like in there or if she was like coming out or whatever. Like I can't
Laura
remember what she's doing right now.
would have been coming out, and so did you find him?
Mitra walks right up to Laura and places her hand on her shoulder, and she gives it a firm squeeze and then stands aside so she can see what she had just saw. Didn't say anything though.
She would immediately go to him and check for pulse and everything, and say, "Shianda, wake up, wake up," and just like shake him, like, "Wake up, wake up." Why is he not waking up? What's wrong with him? Is he hurt? And just she'll start checking him everywhere.
Mitra just watches from a distance. She doesn't play the distance or really say anything. She just stops and looks.
He's not breathing. Why aren't you helping? We need to get him inside.
She doesn't say anything.
Right. I don't understand. And at this point, he will probably see the urn. And did you spread out all the ashes?
Yeah.
She'll stop and stare at the urn. And not really say anything, just stare at it for a bit. And then look back at Sayenda. And she'll shake her head at first. And then she'll say, I thought we were gonna find a nice place.
Now she speaks, and she says yes.
We'll go peacefully.
What do you want to believe?
I'd like to believe so.
Then he did.
I'm gonna make a grid.
It takes some good time this morning to set another of our band to rest. But eventually, you lie Cheyenne's body where you will. Take the same time you took with your brother just the night before.
So, as we did like bury him and stuff, would we actually have found the reason as to why he died, or would it just be old age?
No, I mean, he definitely didn't have all the slit his wrists.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, that
Okay.
was kind of clear. I mean, I think Laura would have saw it when she did check for his vitals, right?
Yeah,
Like
I don't
she
know.
would have
I mean,
definitely be like, "Ha!" That
She
sort
looked
of
like
thing.
she was being pretty delusional, so.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
So at the end, just stare at both the graves. Is Mitra actually there, like when we're done, or?
What's she gonna do? I can go to sleep. That's not that. This is boring.
You
So many
never know.
people died.
You
because
never
of that.
know.
People just keep that down. Like she stands and watches. I mean, she wasn't asked for help, and it's like she had no real personal attachment to either of those people, apart from fighting for her life with them every now and again. As you do. No, she let Laura do all the work unless she asked for help.
No, she wouldn't have asked for help.
Yes.
At the end, she will definitely look at Mitra and say, "Are you also going?"
Mitra looks at her for a moment, looks off to the side, looks back at Lara, and says, "I have no plans to. As I said, death will find us one day. But I have no plans on seeking it out if I can help it."
I think we should go.
Are you ready to?
Yeah.
She nods. DM, did we keep the map that we found earlier?
Yeah, you
And,
guys have
yeah.
a fairly large map that you can keep on hand.
Yeah. Right. Mitra takes a look at the map, just to, not that she's looking for anything in particular, just to kind of like suss out. Just to suss out the sort of markings that were made on the map and the adjustments and whatnot, and puts the map away and says, "I think I know. Well, I don't know where we should go, but we can either stay here and struggle to live in this very different land, or we can go anywhere else. Let's go anywhere else." She thinks back to the Pixie's memories and says, "Come, follow me." And then she takes off.
In the direction of the doors you saw the night before.
In those very same directions.
You both head south, following along the rivers, but this time on the other side of them, as they spider and crawl across the landscape.
Sorry
Takes-
to interrupt. Did we get a long rest?
Yes, the two of you would have long rested. You spent most of the rest of the day getting towards those doors, and once you do arrive there, I think that's a great point to leave it for this session.